Oh, hey there, neighbors. So it's no secret that society has always created certain types of unwritten rules. But it differs, right? Holding the door for someone isn't internationally implemented. Neither is taking off your shoes or tipping. By the way, this is going to ask you a quick question.
But while there may be differences globally, we do have common ground amongst the clouds.
Air travel's come a long way from the high-flying views of yesteryear. In-flight entertainment, top-of-the-line meals, showers, even entire beds are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how much the airline industry has been revolutionized. And me personally, I think I don't give a shit about any of that. We the common folk, the poors. That means if we're lucky enough to board an international flight, we're not going left, we're going right. And if it's domestic, I'm not even checking my seat until I start seeing numbers 20 and up. So yeah. Coach, where crying babies, open-mouthed coughing, and limited overhead compartment space runs rampant. All of that, nothing, and I mean nothing, sparks more controversy and chaos than this. This isn't even the chair for this room. I've seen it for that one shot. Reddit forums, plenty of news articles, and countless videos show that one thing's for certain. There is no room, literally or metaphorically, for these luxuries of lean, these relaxation rests, these specialized seats of serenity to be or not to be. That is the question. Or is it? I mean, don't you have enough? Can't being able to travel halfway across the world be grounds to keep yourself a little upright? Seriously, you're 30,000 feet in the air, traveling over 850 kilometers per hour. Or 528 miles per hour. I mean, those statistics would rattle these gents. So were the ticket prices, but that's not the point here. Should you recline? Should it even be allowed? Well, to answer that question, let me ask you this. Why can you recline at all? Even once planes showed a consistent pattern of behavior of being able to take off and land without it being considered a miracle. It's not like people were running to Delta with ticket and overpacked carry-on in hand. Starting out, any airline that did any form of transportation was sending out mail and produce, not people. Even once the general public, and by that I mean dumb rich, had the opportunity to get a bird's eye view of the world, we were a long way away from canned apple juice and plastic utensils, especially in the relaxation department. This is what awaited first-time adopters of commercial aviation. And those old, rickety-looking mounds of woven terror were in fact the chairs that they would sit in. And just for a moment, can we just pause and think about going through turbulence with one of those? That. Anyway, they're called wicker chairs, made out of rattan, a certain type of pliable wood, and bonded together by its own tensile strength and resin. I'm sure you've seen them. Pay attention next time you're at your annual grandparent visit, or for some reason you're at a Crackle Barrel. They use rocking chairs and benches, not wicker chairs, you idiot. Okay, yeah, well, for one, rocking wicker chairs exist, and two, you got me. We're all very proud of you. I hope you're enjoying your grandma's sampler pancake breakfast, including 2 pancakes, 2 eggs, a sample, and a bacon, sausage, and ham. And oh boy, you gotta tell me what you got as a side. Point being, it wasn't until the 1930s to 40s that airplane seats started to really take shape into what we know today. I mean, the reclining function didn't even exist until the Fokker F-32 in 1929, and true comfort didn't take shape until airlines like the Pan Am started their Sleeperette series in the late 1940s. But like most things, it was ruined by, you know, greed. Think about it. Airplanes over time started to become more widespread. Competition, convenience, popularity, and a host of other factors led to more airplanes, more airlines, and thus lower airfares. So people started to become more comfortable physically and financially getting into these horizontal flying tubes. So what's next but to push those people as close as humanly possible? And we really started to see a shift in the 1980s and beyond. From reducing seat width, legroom length, and aisle space, to adding more rows to flights, both domestically and internationally. Airlines saw the dollar signs and they got to work. And it what? You're fine. Keep going. No, just get it out now, because I don't want to be halfway through this and you have to add something. I personally feel like you're making my point for me. Things were terrible back then, but I wasn't even a thought of a thought back in the 1960s or wherever the hell you said the first reclining chairs were implemented.
Late 1940s?
Whatever. My point is, you said in the 1980s everything went to shit, right? But I'm living in the era of no legroom, so what's that got to do with me? I'm just trying to educate people initially before we go into the deep dive. Sure, it's bad now, but they had wicker chairs, these basically glorified fruit baskets with stilts. Think about how bad it could be. I don't live in the 19 whatever. I live in 2020 now. And 2020 now me wants to recline. Okay, so I'm assuming you want to take over. Me? Well, no, change that. Okay, good, better. When people think of recliners, they think of some random asshole like Jim Jam John, who forgot his lightning cord adapter for his earbuds, so now he can't watch Charlie's Angels Full Throttle for the 2.5-hour flight to Detroit. And because of that, he's gonna go full throttle on a cup of complimentary white wine, hit recline, and be just fine. But that's just honing in on such a small percentage of us reclining realists. There are a variety of reasons why people don't want to, but need to recline their chair. Medical needs for one. Some passengers have serious health conditions like circulation issues where they have to frequently keep moving, and that includes reclining their chair. People have varying body types, so a little bit of extra legroom can go a long way. General pain and discomfort like their neck, their back, no, let me stop, okay. But people do suffer from basic muscle and joint pain and need to recline to alleviate any discomfort they can. Also, sleep and general fatigue. You have no idea how long someone's day has been up to that point. Not to mention red eye or just trying to battle jet lag. Hell, even stress relief. Someone may be generally going through something mentally or emotionally. They could suffer from claustrophobia or just basic stressors of flying. So reclining and relaxing could generally relieve a lot of anxiety. So what do you have? What do you mean? I'm just saying you listed all those points, and fair enough. And given all those points, what do you have out of that list that justifies you reclining? I'm tall, aisle seat. You know what? It doesn't even matter, okay? I bought the ticket, so I am entitled to all of the operations and functions that the seat can provide. Like the emergency flotation device underneath? You know what I mean. That ticket includes, but is not limited to, minuscule amounts of overhead space, arm resting for armchair access, and yes, the ability to recline in my chair. Okay, so you adhere to the moral licensing theory. I mean, What's the moral licensing theory? Think about it like this. You just started a no sugar diet. You're a week in, you've been doing really, really well. Plus you helped that guy on Tuesday move his car to the gas station when he ran out of gas. So you deserve a little sweet treat, right? No, you don't, Josh. Put the Snickers down. This concept has a variety of forms, so it's been researched to death. An example of this is a report that came out in 2009. Basically, the study was a measure of an individual's charitable goody behavior, and it was done by having the subjects be exposed to a variety of different words. So for example, the neutral group were given words like house, book, keys, kazuhito narita. The positive group was given words generous, fair, kind, maka. And the negative group was given words disloyal, greedy, mean, Revi. They were asked to write a short story associated to the words that they were given about themselves. After that, they were asked if they wanted to donate $1 to $10 to a charity of their choice. The neutral group donated $2.71, the negative group $5.30, and the positive group came in with a candy from Buy in Arizona tea at $1.07. Taking this concept and applying it to the rallying cry of recliners, I can see the thought process. I bought these tickets. I worked hard to get time off. I did all of this to get the vacation that I want to go on. So I'm gonna do what I want with what I've earned. And to those recliners, I'm gonna ask you to view it in this perspective. Let's imagine someone has a shitload of money and just buys like 10,000 people that usually recline their ticket. All expenses paid, no vacation time depleted, and you can go wherever you want. Now, I wonder how inclined those recliners would still say, fuck your damn knees going straight to the underground. And to those still saying, nah, I'd hit that button and still lean back. I think 2 pre-2005 references are gonna be enough for this video. Well, to the person that still was reclining and answering that way, I'd ask them this. What if the person that was sitting behind you was the person that bought you that ticket and you knew they bought you that ticket? Segue! The idea of in-group, out-group is exactly what you think. The majority of people on an airplane are strangers, so there's no association or connection with anybody around you. Hence why it's so easy to disregard their feelings or perspective. So again, why I ask if the person that bought you that ticket was sitting behind you, would you still recline? Would you really? Let's really put some pressure on. Maybe it's your abnormally tall grandma. She records it at a respectable 6 feet 9 inches. What about her and her lovely yet brittle kneecaps? Could you, nay, would you recline back into sweet old Graham? Lastly is the diffusion of responsibility, which is when a person feels a lack of motivation to act on something amongst a large group of people. Take it like this. You go in for an interview and halfway through, a man in a bear suit bursts in and starts going off. No reason, no warm up, but he is leaving absolutely no crumbs in the middle of that office space. You would, understandably, start to freak out and want to ask questions. But let's say, after giving him, I don't know, a 6-second stare of confusion, you look around, you look at your interviewees, and they are unfazed. Still waiting for an answer from you about how you'd be a good fit for the company. This would most certainly leave you even more confused. Is this a test? Am I going crazy? Can they really not see this bear breaking it down? In contrast, let's say it's the same scenario. You're going in for an interview halfway through, and then all of a sudden a bear bursts onto the scene. But this time, the interviewees are panicking and freaking out. That would most certainly justify you already halfway out the door reevaluating all of your life choices. Now, the same can be said for a lot of people on an airplane. Reclining has been socially acceptable for decades, so no one's really gonna pay attention or care for that matter if you recline your seat back or not. Maybe besides the person that's sitting behind you. But imagine the opposite, not just in this scenario, but any.
Hello there, sir. What can I get for you today? Yeah, let's do a medium popcorn, small Dr. Pepper, and some M&Ms, please. Sounds good. I can get that served for you right away. It's gonna come out to be $17.50. Perfect. Could I also get some butter on top of the popcorn, please? What? But it already has butter all over it when it comes out of the popcorn maker. No, I understand. I want some additional butter on top of the popcorn. The dispenser's right over there. I guess it's hardly ever used. Okay, well, today let's do some extra butter, please. What's the butter man doing, Mommy? Doesn't he have enough butter? Shh, Terry, baby, he can hear you. Here you go, sir, your popcorn. Thanks. I'm scared. I know, sweetheart, I know, me too. What's wrong with you? Don't you have any self-worth? There are children here. I know. It's too much butter, Mommy. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Come on, let's go to our seats. Shame, 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 shame. Y'all being ridiculous. Shame, shame, shame.
If every single person on that plane started screaming, crying, yelling, and pointing at you the moment you go back a single degree in that chair, I bet you'd reconsider. If you're still willing to down that hill saying, I would give a chickpea what anybody else did, I know you'd feel at least a bit uncomfy in that situation. Now, I know, even with all that I've listed, the examples I've given, the little skits I've done about dick to change your mind if you really want to recline. But for those who may be on the fence, you kind of see where I'm coming from, yet you still want a bit of prone paradise. And you don't necessarily need to recline, but you're worried about feeling like an ass. I see you. I've got you. So, let's do a breakdown, shall we? With this. Behold! Wait, no, sorry. Behold! The airplane seat breakdown. As you can see, we have it broken down into two categories: international and domestic. Now, even with having international and domestic, it's more complicated than that. For example, Southwest and JetBlue typically have a lot more legroom. Qatar Airlines is notorious for how much space they provide holistically. If you were trying to break down every airline, aircraft, model, seat sector, seat design, this video would be like an hour long. That being said, we're gonna have a few ground rules because I know how y'all like to play monkey's paw. First class, business class, specialized seating, all of that, I'm not talking to you. Get out of here. Goodbye. You're solely talking about economy seating. It's claustrophobic, you can't move anywhere, and you're so close to people that if you turn to the right-hand side, you can look over someone's shoulder as they're rewatching The Office for the upteenth time. Can we please diversify our portfolios? Besides us splitting it up between international and domestic, this is solely going to be about the amount of degrees you can recline in your seat. First we have meh. Next we have eh. And lastly we have oh, hell no! Also, if you have chronic pain, serious mental health conditions, doctors certified mental conditions, and or you haven't slept for 24 hours, not 23, don't count. Congratulations, you've unlocked oh, hell no tier. Everybody else is gonna be dictated by how long the flight is. Yes, tall people, I'm talking to you too. You're going to be a part of this group. I'm 6'4". You know damn well if you're not taking that aisle seat and you're taking the window or the middle seat, you're fucked. Let's get started. 1 to 3 hours on a flight, congratulations, you've unlocked nothing. Lock in, put in a movie, and get to work. Between taking off and getting to steady altitude, it's like 15 minutes, so you have to be upright anyway. Descending to get to the tarmac is gonna be like another 30. So realistically, we're looking at about 2 hours max. You're fine. 3 to 5 hours. You get 1 degree in international flights and 1 degree in domestic flights. 5 to 8 hours in the sky, 2 degrees of recline. For domestic, 2 to 3 degrees of wait, this is wrong. I got these wrong. Damn it. 2 to 3. And this should be international to 5 to 8 hours. You get 2 to 3 degrees of recline. Domestic, you get 2 degrees of recline. I don't know how you're gonna be in a plane domestically for 8+ hours, but let's just say that you are. You can go all the way back. International. Same idea here. The max amount that chair can recline, that's what you get with an 8-hour flight on an international. Crazy. So there you go. The Recline rankings. Breakdowns are nice, the reasons for and against are understandable, but the question stands, should reclining your chair be banned? The better question is, will we even have the option? Pre-recline, which is just a cute way of saying no recline, has been in the talks and even implemented in some cases. Seriously, there have been airlines that have implemented these Viagra seats, like a UK airline called Jet2 in 2009. And from a business standpoint, it does make sense. I mean, these seats don't recline by magic, right? There's a whole ass mechanism in there that's prone to wear, tear, and repair. Removing all that machinery can save you a fortune on fuel costs because you're dumping the extra weight. And something I never even thought of was the cost of disturbance. We were fighting like Muppets over inches of space like it's the Battle of the Bulge. Taking out that variable that leads to these conflicts can save so much time and headaches for these flight attendants. The article even refers to them as schoolyard monitors, which I found fantastic. Realize this is not affecting long-term travel. I mean, it's clearly not caught on. When's the last time you were on a flight and realized that your recline button was a sticker? That being said, I was on holiday break from school coming from the Philippines back to Japan. I was taking the Cebu Pacific Airline and I was on their A321. Could not recline at all. The function did not exist. So who's to say there won't be a mainstream surge through Delta or American Airlines? Because you can always count on companies saving money. It's no secret that airlines have been trying to make seats, hell, the airplanes themselves, as cheap as humanly possible. And throughout this video, I know you've been screaming, it's the airline's fault. And yeah, of course it is. There's historical evidence that passengers were treated as delicately and respectfully as the hand-rolled cigarettes they received when they got on the plane. They don't give a shit about you, me, anybody, because at the end of the day, there's only one way to get from Texas to Tokyo, and it sure as hell ain't walking. Knowing that airlines are never going to change their seat policy, besides making it worse for us, puts the onus on us to set the standard. With that being said, no, we shouldn't ban reclining. There are people out there that legitimately need it. But for those who are just fine and simply need a break for the back, well, for one, you've got your meh, oh hell no tier, so you're welcome. But also, just be mindful. Look behind you and see what someone's dealing with before you decide to get a better view of the air vent, or just ask. You would be shocked to know how much people are willing to be uncomfortable just because you show the smallest amount of human decency and awareness. Me personally, I cannot remember the last time I reclined my chair. I don't do it because I know what it's like to have someone recline into me and have their back in my lap. But if you're really worried about this whole recline revolution, just take the aisle seat like a grown-up and prepare to have your toes crushed and your shoulders obliterated by the service trolley. And for those who might be conflict averse, I have created a sorry for the inconvenience card cutting template in this very video. Well, not this video, these are mine, but it's in the video. I mean, it's technically in the video, you can see it right here, but it's in the description. And it gives sweet and simple explanations as to why you may have to recline, without all the hassle and awkwardness of having to interact with somebody. It ranges from understandable circumstances like, hello, my name is yada yada yada, and I have yada yada yada, so I have to recline my chair, to less subtle and apologetic responses that are not as flattering. Something along the lines of, hi, I'm a big asshole and I'm going to recline my chair regardless of how you feel about the situation. Feel free to rip up the barf bag in front of you, tear it up into little pieces, and then inconspicuously put it on my head during the duration of this flight. Can we just be adults? Don't shake someone's seat if they recline, or scream the Miranda rights as someone who was annoyed that you did recline. I get it, it's annoying and you don't even know these people. But here's the thing, like this is a blip on the percentage of your life. A few days, hell, a few hours after that flight, I guarantee you're not gonna remember who reclined or who did it. And if you still wanna be a stubborn Sally or inconsiderate Isaac and you wanna recline but don't need to, before you do, just imagine your 6'9" Gram sitting directly behind you and think about how you'd act before hitting that button and going back. So what do you think about reclining? Should it be banned? Do you recline? Do you not? What's your reasons why? Let's talk about it next Sunday at the cookout. So bring some extra Tupperware, and don't worry, we're gonna have plenty of chicken and turkey and mashed potatoes and green beans for everybody. As always, take your time, take a breath, and take care. Okay? Bye. There's your tip for the day. Something with sticky material that's bound together like a car mount or tape. Just use nail polish remover and it gets it off immediately. Or you cannot be an asshole and rip off the tape violently.